Welcome, everyone. I am back after, I don't know, a couple of weeks, back to live streaming. Again, if you guys don't know what these videos are, these are live videos that nobody watches, but I do it honestly for my future self, documenting my journey as a one-person company. I'm a founder of a one-person company. It's just me. And I'm building basically my own Google. I used to work for Google, and I was frustrated, and so I quit Google, and I wanted to build something I always wanted to do actually, was to rethink how I would build a search experience from scratch, from the ground up. And with AI and everything that Perplexity has done, um, it just felt the time was right. So I quit and I moved continents, and then I started working and tried to sort of spend a lot of time figuring out what would I do. And the way I always try to structure my thought process was ignoring how exactly Perplexity, Google, Brave, all these existing search work. What are the main problems that I see in search today and going forward in the age of AI for a large group of people? Honestly, I want to build this for everyone, but starting with professionals, because I want to target myself. I'm a professional, I'm a founder, I'm a software engineer. Um, And of course, I'm my customer number one. But I quickly realized, even before I quit, that if I were to slightly generalize me, I'm someone who doesn't like to spend a lot of time on social media because it sucks up all my time and attention. I also want things sent to me instead of me finding all these information, because I have a lot of interests, some professional, some semi-professional, some just hobbies. And I want stuff sent to me versus me seeking information. And like, imagine you wake up and Google everything all the time, Perplexity all the time. It's exhausting, it's draining, and also I may forget. So I want stuff to send to me. I want to save time. I want to save my attention. Um, and I want a company that I can trust, a product that I can trust, that doesn't use my data, because some of this is very personal data, things that you search. If you just have your Google search history on, and if you take a look at everything you've searched for the past 1 month or 2 months, you'll be surprised um, how much of a picture that you can paint about yourself if you were to just share just your search queries, nothing else, to a stranger. Don't do it, but if you were to do it, even you can imagine like that stranger would know so much about you, where you work, what you work on, are you planning vacation, do you have kids, roughly how old are you based on what you're searching for, what medical conditions you have, what things you like, what are your interests, say you like watches, you like video games, even like what kind of games and what consoles or computer, PC gamer or console gamer, like where you are. You can tell all of that because in chances that in the last 2 or 3 months you've searched for all of that. Even though you've searched for a day or two in the last 2 months or 3 months, you can derive that. And imagine, and this is just a human, imagine feeding all of that to an AI. Imagine feeding all that to a top of the line AI like Mythos from Anthropic, or who knows what's coming down the road. Now it's really scary. So that scared the crap out of me. And that's when I'm like, you know what? This is too much. I guess I now see an opportunity for myself, and honestly, many other founders and many other startups. This is not a winner takes all kind of a thing, but I definitely see an opportunity for myself to build this. And if I don't do it, I'll regret it when I get older. And this was also a great opportunity to see my son, see me, his father, quitting a very well-paid job at Google headquarters in Mountain View, very well-paid, very comfortable job, which you could tell I was frustrated, um, to kind of quit that comfort and choose a life of, well, it's a lot of suffering, and no income, to build what I like, what I believe in, and come out on the other side strong. And I think that would have been, or would be, in my opinion, the best father-son lesson. So I thought, if anything, it would be a great thing for my son to see, and he is. It's funny. I call him. I'm like, look, look, look. um, so that's all the background. Today, I'm talking about how I'm building it. It's obviously, as a one person building this is daunting. One of the things you're seeing on my screen, the way I do these videos is I always share something, and I talk about it. This is 49th episode, so I've done quite a few of these, and I want to do more and more ground level technical sharing. Um, but today I'm focusing on how I'm building it, and obviously I'm using AI for a good chunk of the work for the coding. I do step in coding. I do review everything the AI writes. Sometimes I'll manipulate this and that, but most of the time it's really just how I use AI. So let me start with sort of what I'm wanting to build. Now, this is not the UI. This is not a search. This doesn't look like Google or Perplexity at all. So this is what you're looking at is an internal console. It's for me, what I've built for not just myself, but for AI agents to kind of evaluate different search queries and how it's performing. So if you see, you don't have to read too much into it. Honestly, even I sometimes don't. Like there's a lot of info, but just to kind of walk you through. Uh, Here, Kochi is just a session that kicked this off. There are multiple coding sessions. Think of it as coding agents or software engineers I have running at any given point in time. I don't try to run more than 3 or 4. So in other words, I don't try to have three, actually total 3 plus 3 because I have someone coding agent that also verify. So total of 6 to 8. I don't try to have like 6 to 8 agents running for me at any given time because I so closely monitor. I review everything, all the diffs. So my goal is not to build this the fastest. I've spent more than a year and a half already. So that itself can tell you my goal is to build it reliably. This is a trustworthy product. By the way, uh, just a little bit about myself. I was part of the software engineering team in the Google search org. And specifically, my team had a bunch of AI machine learning engineers, and we built models for Google search for trust and safety and consistency and accuracy. And so our team's models would get used on the line of fire when someone does a Google search to see if something Google search is showing that we shouldn't. Not just from an accuracy standpoint, but is it like um, hurtful or what you used to call trust eroding? Anyways, so I'm very familiar with trust in general. But you have to have trust because just because of what I said earlier, just this data, what you search on is very, very private most of the times. So what you're looking at is an AI agent called Kochi. So my AI agent is based on country, region, city kind of a thing, or country, region, village. So it could be from any country. Here, Kochi is a region or a city in Kerala, India. But I have others. I have a Dubai, I have a London, all these things. Every time I start a new software engineer agent, I give it an ID. Anyways, so it kicked it off, and it basically runs off search and runs some tests, and it collects all this info. This clearly wording has been pretty bad, 2 pass, 2 fail, and it kind of looks at different elements in the search. And again, I'm not showing the search UX yet because I'm still working on it. So that's why I don't want to go into too much detail. I just want to call out that these are different sections, some content, like there's an answer, there's body, some sources, some cards, like there's a finance card if it's a finance query. There's a key takeaway section for, hey, TLDR kind of a thing. There's YouTube embed videos. So one of the things I'm doing is, and I've talked a little bit about this in previous videos, but I want search to be a search user experience to look like a search user experience, very colorful, multimedia, rolling, like almost like editorially built sort of content versus chat. This is not a chat app at all. So all these things I expect, and what's present, what's not, and here's some screenshots, and it highlights, and there's a full page screenshot. It highlights, how we are doing. So the idea is that you can go search. Like these AI agents can perform searches and test what we're showing. And if you're building an experience, what I'm doing, I don't have many pages in my app. I just have, at its most basic 2 pages, homepage and search results or search response page. But testing it is very tricky because the search response can be very different based on what you're searching. If you're searching a finance query and stock price, you may see a stock widget and some other things. Yeah, if you're searching for travel itinerary or just latest news, that could look very different. So that's a big challenge. So that's why this page exists. The page is very different for based on type of query, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so I'm building this, and one of the things I wanted to do is first I kind of used an AI agent to help me build this, and then I told all the coding agents use it, and it's been working fine. But now I want to enhance it. I want to make it even powerful, like these screenshots right here. Right now, I don't use an LLM to review the screenshot and find issues. It'd be nice if LLM can run, not, I mean, AI agent can just not just run the test like the search proof, but also the tool, the search proof tool can review not just the sections, but also look at the screenshot and see what else is wrong. Like what is the user seeing and what are some things to call out. So for that, you can use like an LLM or visual LLM or even one of the multimodal LLMs to do that. I'm currently using Gemini, but it can be anything. So what I'm trying to do is, why can't I spin up an AI coding agent just to work on this tool? So that I have. And then why can't the existing AI coding agents that are working on my two big search lanes, feature lanes, uh, etc., can work with this agent directly, and they can collaborate. The search developer agents know how this tool is working, what are its shortcomings, when it fails, what's missing, etc., and they can kind of share it to the coding agent that is responsible to enhance this. So that's what I want to show. And I've built this all by myself, as in just using instructions and some other things. There are other libraries, tools that you can use. I don't like that because I want full control. This is so important to me. And also I want easy to understand. And so what I've done, I think it works pretty well. And this is like just very recent. So I think it'll get even better. So let me just switch the screens. All right, so now we are on Westterm. I use this tool called Westterm. I used to use Mac Terminal, but the Westterm's awesome. It is weird. It has weird issues like selection. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, and all these weird things. This is a weird tool, but it's like built by someone like me. I can almost tell. It's very good at what it does, but with quirks, and it's very quirky. But it's really good. I like it. So I use Westterm. I only do CLI, like coding. I don't use like cursor or anything like that. Again, I want full control. I want all that, and then like I want to be able to muck around. I want all the detail. I don't want a lot of windows and tooling and things taking a lot of memory come in the way, so I don't use any of that. Um, my editor is Sublime. I just use Sublime. I think it's the best, greatest code editor ever built, just because it's so fast. I want the fastest thing. I don't want features. I want speed. Because I switch windows, I change things. I open 25,000 tabs. I want all of that. All right. So let me just walk you through now what you're looking at now. So I showed you what I want, what the tool I have built with an AI coding agent, but now that tool, I want someone to take over that tool, ownership of it, to kind of maintain it, enhance it. A couple enhancements I can already talk about is use AI like LLMs to visually look at screenshots and call out what's wrong. And then some other enhancements are just like enhancing how it works, what else to kind of look for, et cetera, et cetera. So like I said earlier, instead of me directing, I want the main two AI coding agents that are working on the two core search feature. One is working on the core, what's called a search pipeline, stabilizing it, because right now everything works, but it's just not very stable. So there's one AI coding agent called Kochi, and that's what you're looking at. Kochi is that agent that is just like is just responsible to kind of make sure the pipeline is robust. There's enough logging. There are gates at every step of the pipeline. And I'll talk about what the pipeline is in the future video. I've a little bit talked in the past. And then Bengaluru, which is the second session, is working on one of the features which I call visual understanding. And so idea is that if you're a visual person like me, the response shows like visually kind of what you're asking for using diagrams and things like that, which is pretty cool. Today, you can do all of this in Gemini or ChatGPT or Google, etc. But you have to explicitly add instructions in my search app which is also a platform, by the way, because everything I'm building, I'm exposing it. I'm going to expose it in APIs so other developers can build it on top of it, make it even better, build some crazy application, and hopefully it's a source of monetization for me. So yeah, so let me show you so this is the search pipeline coding agent. And as you can see, and let me actually quickly switch. Now, this is the agent, the search proof agent. This agent is not named after a city because there is some history associated with it. Actually, it is named behind a city. It is Shiabusu. Let me rename it. I think that's the right spelling. I think that's the right spelling, but you'll see it somewhere below. It does have it. All right. So this is the Shiabusu. This is the agent that owns the search proof tool that I showed. And if I switch, this is the agent that is the coding agent, the primary coding agent that's responsible for the entire search pipeline, making a bunch of enhancements, stability things. And Bengaluru is working on visual understanding. So let's go to Kochi, the search pipeline agent. And you notice what I've said. Send in feedback to Shiba Yusu. Now, this is the reason I wanted to show you was there are two ways these agents can work together. One is I can tell an agent, and I've built something called Agent OS, which kind of orchestrates all of this. And it's like the agentic framework, if you will. I'm not using anything someone else has built. I just built it myself again because I want full control. It's pretty cool. I want to do a video just on Agent OS because it has nothing to do with my search platform. I can use it for building anything. But key capabilities of Agent OS is you can use it to message between agents. Agents can send feedback or feature requests to the Agent OS for the Agent OS to improve. So it's like self-evolving. Agent OS has functionality like a dashboard for me to see how all the agents are doing. It has functionality for like supercharging development, like diffs, like doing diffs, but with AI. So hey, there's a big diff, lots of files have changed. You can use Git to see all the diff, but you can also send all the diff as context to an LLM with some instruction, then kind of make sense of the diff. So that's also in my case, the Agent OS supports it and the coding agents use it. So it actually elevates these coding agents so much that takes away a lot of responsibility for coding agent, helps them focus on just the coding part. And the Agent OS takes a lot of the grunt work away from them. And Agent OS just speeds up in a very reliable way. And so I've incrementally added more and more and more and more capabilities to Agent OS, and it's been terrific. So there are two ways coding agents can send a message. I'm sorry, two ways coding agents can help the coding agent that's responsible for the search proof, which is I'm just going to call it Shiba Yusu. Two ways coding agents can help Shiba Yusu. Again, Shiba Yusu is the coding agent that's just purely responsible for the search proof. Just make that better. So two ways coding agents can work with Shiba Yusu to improve. One is I can explicitly tell the coding agents, like I have here, please send feedback to Shiba Yusu on how to improve. And this is the search tool, etc. And then the coding agents are like, la 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 la. Okay, I'll send the message. Here I'm using Claude, by the way. This is Claude, the latest 5.6, 5.7, whatever. After they took Fable away, we're back to Opus 5.7 something, and I'm using Max Thinking. So I'm triggering send feedback to some other agent, and here I'm sending it to Shiba Inu, but Shiba. Oh, actually, I should better. I don't know how to pronounce this. Shibuya. Sorry, Shiba Inu. I was saying Shibuya. There you go. Let me fix this spelling. This is a Japanese town, I know, but I didn't know how to pronounce it because I randomly generate this. Okay, Shibuya. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I've been to Japan, by the way. It's awesome. All right. So like I sent explicitly a message to one of the coding agents, say, hey, send some feedback to this coding agent because it's working on the tool that you're using. And so this relieves the coding agent to improve tools. It relieves responsibility. That's a big thing. I mean, if you're doing like I'm building using AI coding engine for a year and a half, you'll know how huge it is. So this is also something, if you're sort of new or just getting started or you're just vibe coding, just the more you can take away in terms of responsibilities from coding agents, the better the coding agents are focused on just coding. So here we have taken all the tool work away out of the responsibility for the coding agent. So they can just focus on, in my case, search pipeline enhancements or stabilization. And the tool, Shibuya, can own the tool. So like, hey, send feedback. And Kochi is using the tool often. So it knows kind of its shortcoming. And also Kochi also knows what would save Kochi time, or what would make its effort more efficient, better, simpler, faster, more accurate, more reliable, more intelligent. Actually, I want more intelligent. Like I'd like the tool to be so intelligent that Kochi can just use it and boom, 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 and the tool will say, hey, this is the output, these are all the screenshots, and this is what your run showed up, this is the summary, these are the highlights. And Kochi's like, wow, okay, thank you. I can now make the changes, focus on my coding, and then run the tool again, and it does the same thing. That's the goal. And if I can do that, I can have 3, 4, 5. Like you can see right now, I have Bengaluru, I have Florence, London, Positano, Dubai, and this is the previous version of Kochi because I had to do a handoff. It's pretty powerful, very powerful. Okay, so I sent the message, and so V, these coding agents called me V, and like, okay, blah blah blah, send me to. It has an inbox. My agent who has an inbox. Don't read all the details. Your head will start hurting. But I'll highlight what you probably want to focus on. So wait for me to highlight. Oh, look at this. The agent who has blocked the send. So it did send some feedback. It was blocked because there are some guidelines. My message and la 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 la. So there's some blocks. There's something that, so this is the also agent OS feature to commit. So you can commit using agent OS safely in parallel when multiple agents are using on. I don't use work trees. I don't like work trees. So my agent OS helps do all the coordination. So there's some Git level conflict, blah, blah, blah. So let's keep going. This going. You see active concurrent commit situation. Blah, blah. And by the way, my agent OS is now enhanced this. Because this was the coding engines were struggling with this. So this is I've scrolled sort of way back in the history, but this is now much faster. The serial lane, whatever locking. Okay, blah 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 blah. Done. This again. Don't focus on the scrolling and all the text because I'm showing you my raw coding terminal. So your head will hurt. Don't just wait for me to highlight something and then focus on it. So here, there you go. Right, it sent a message. Done, and it surfaced a good sign. Round 2 feedback is delivered to Shibuya. Only two blah 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 skillfully preserved. Shibuya has already created something because it's already in development mode. Done. All right. So that's one way. And apparently this coding agent sent the complete wish list. So this is funny. I didn't ask for it to have a wish list, by the way. It's just the tool. I work with the tool, and it knows like the shortcoming of it. The coding agent knows the shortcoming of the tool, and it prepared an entire wish list and sent it over. It's crazy. I was so happy. Like my blood was like, wow, 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 wow. Like blood oxygen in my system was like maxed out. So happy to see this. And then it did some other things. Good news, and let this agent, Shibuya is already building the right thing. A separate add-on tool that reads the existing results instead of risking edits. La la la. I hit a brief traffic jam delivering, which is what I was talking about earlier. It's fixed now, and now so there you go. So that's one way to do it. And there's some of the feedback may have said. Anyways, that's one way to do it. Now there's a second way, and that is a lot more interesting. Let me just scroll to see if I can find it. So the second way is the coding agent has access to a mailbox, and when it's doing something, it checks mailbox periodically, and if it finds, it automatically detects a message was sent and sends it over. Let me see if I can find some evidence for that because it has done it a few times. And this, because there's so much text, it's hard for me to spot. So please, sorry about this. And maybe in the future, I'll take some screenshots and just walk you through the screenshot. Maybe that's easier in the future because I was too lazy to take these screenshots. So my bad, sorry. La 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 la. Look, the decision's yours. These coding is very smart. something. Okay, so maybe not here. Maybe go to Bengaluru. Bengaluru might have. So I asked Bengaluru, which is also the coding agent, for working on the visual understanding. So I did the same thing. Let's see if there's evidence here. Like I said, in the future, I'll just do screenshots. It also sent its wish list, whatever, to Shibuya. La 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 la. My message is in Shibuya's inbox. Sent. I'm trying to find. So let's see. Go. Actually, you know what I can do? Let me just do this. Let me just trigger something, right? So I can trigger something called. So I can say check messages. And now, generally, I don't have to do this. Running the mailbox. Oh, look at this, all the messages. So generally, I don't have to do this because it's actively coding. And of course, I'm just focused on requests. But I can just say check messages, and it did it. Holy smoke, a lot of messages, or what happened? Why did I get lost? Yeah, there are 8 messages for Bengaluru. Ha ha! All from Shibuya. Shibuya has been busy. So this is where I didn't ask Bengaluru to go, send a message or read message. I mean, I said check message, but it was basically a way to trigger this. But what I have in my sort of agents.md is that before you respond, always check for sort of message inbox. So it automatically checks and responds. So I don't have to kind of have these coding agents explicitly ask what I showed earlier. Hey, work for this agent, work for this agent, do this, do this, do this. Now using message passing, they do it themselves. So there are some unread messages, blah, 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 some eval design, which is correct because, see, this is a flashlight eval design. So this is what, I think what this is I had asked, or I was working with Shibuya, how to do the LLM-based sort of screenshot understanding. And we talked about doing a flashlight versus Gemini flashlight and Gemini flash eval to see, can we use flashlight and save some costs? And also it's faster. And so some of this is that and some annotation. So there you go, 8 pending requests, a formal approach. This is something else. This is very cool, actually. I didn't know that. But when these agents are talking with each other, they can just discuss. So there's ability to discuss formally. There's also ability to debate. So they can debate with each other, which is like discuss, but sort of more focused on a topic and an outcome. And then formally request approval. So I tell coding agent like, hey, these are the approvers. Don't ask me. Like in this case, I told Shibuya, which is Shibuya is right here. I told Shibuya, hey man, don't ask me for approval. Like this is just a tool. I want to focus on other things. I'll be the final approver after all is said and done. We just work with the 2 coding agents and have them approve first, then show me everything that you've done and what they've approved, and then I'll give you the final approval. So I'm like the boss at the end, and these things can just do its own. And so so I'm happy to see that. So there's a formal approval from Shibuya, and there's a packet. Ah, major. Look at this coding agent complaining. Hey, stop complaining. It's not complaining. I like to have fun with these agents. So apparently, it's a major batch, Japan style. JSL just means Japanese. So I test with the different languages for the search response. And and really good, Okay, anyway, it's gonna do its thing. Search results change. This is anti-fake, Let me read. So it's gonna do its thing and respond back. Let me do the same thing to Kochi, because I'm sure Shibuya would have sent the message to Kochi as well, because Kochi is a primary coding agent working on the spine. And sure enough, there you go, 7 messages. So yeah, bunch of messages, and so they'll work. But I guess what I really wanted to show you, look, it has priorities like P0 and then a bunch of P1s. So what I really wanted to show you was this is kind of simulating that we're just coding. I'm working with the coding engines, just focus on coding, but they'll spot messages that they'll receive from other coding agents and react, and they'll collaborate. They can discuss, but they can also seek formal approval. And just makes my life so much easier, so much better. So that's what I wanted to show you in today's session. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, 700 led by a P0 formal approval request. So yeah, apparently Shibuya requested formal approval from both of my coding agents, Kochi and Bengaluru. So and oh, look at this. Shibuya has executed my feedback. So Kochi had to remember send its wish list. And fast and well, it landed the adjacent packet projector over existing man and not touching protector harness because apparently we want to keep it. Kochi was like, oh, don't touch, because I'm already using the harness. Don't touch it. Like do it adjacently and then switch over. And now needs my formal approval. Let's see. Let's wait a minute to see it gives approval or not. Sometimes I was suspicion it may not give approval but give feedback back, and then Shibuya then should work on the feedback and then request approval again. So pretty good. And you can use this with loop. So Claude codecs to support the command called loop, which is pretty popular these days. I don't use it because again I review everything, so I have my diff on all the time. Everything that these guys are doing right now, I'm kind of letting it a little bit slide because I'm doing a demo. So, but I don't like, hey, do everything. My goal is not to just finish. My goal is like build in a way I can completely understand down to the ground level, so that I can be in more control. I know what's working, what's not working, how to enhance this, etc. All right, let's see what it's doing. Oh, this is by the way the agent OS that I built commands. So you can, what I told you earlier, approval respond, you can send a title, next suggested next step, etc. from session ID to session ID, and etc. Let's see what is responding. And as I told earlier, I'm using Claude and with max effort, so you can see it here. It's max effort. I have not seen a big difference between very high and max, to be perfectly honest. Uh, I generally like very high. It's a little faster too, and max when I'm doing some complicated things. This I've set to max because, oh, look at this. We saw an approval. This I said max because this is the coding agent responsible for the entire search pipeline and stability. And so I wanted to give it maximum thinking because the entire product, this is the spine on which the entire product relies on. Then so it kind of deserved. But if I was working on something smaller, I wouldn't set max. Like you don't want to set max to everything all the time. It's kind of waste of resources. It slows you down. It costs you more money, to say the least. So you have to be smart about it. Oh, look at this. There's a clean well scope approval with one judgment call. My ruling, approve. It's exactly my top two asks. So apparently top two things that Kochi had asked. Shibuya, good job, Shibuya. Or how do I pronounce it? Let me read it again. Okay, it is Shibuya. Um, good job, Shibuya. Yay for Japan. It's exactly to the JSON only in LLM, split up LLM. So this is the LLM annotation. So what I told you earlier, Shibuya is one of the things Shibuya is doing is use LLMs to review the screenshots and annotate, etc. So again, take that much more responsibility away from the coding agent. So the coding agent again is focused on coding and not doing all the testing, verification, reviewing the test results, etc. If you're kind of a little bit of a novice, that's what you do. Your coding agent's doing everything. But believe me, that's not the best way to go about it. And if you're trying to build what I'm doing, which is like your own, like a Google or Perplexity like platform, you're not going to go too far. So, anyways, determines passive is red Shibuya 7 tool message, verdict approve. Determines adjacent packet, 5 required fields, Gemini runner. Yeah, we're using Gemini. And that's the message. Formal approved recorded. La 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 la. All handled. Here's the summary. We approve Shibuya formal approval. 6P1 design as verdict. La la la. Shibuya asked which would have saved T1 review time. Oh, this is another thing. The tooling agent, I've asked it and had it in the instructions. Ask the coding agents what will save coding agents time, because coding agents are the most precious. They are like the software engineers. They are the workhorses. Not to say it in a derogatory way, like software engineers are workhorses. but you know what I mean. It's like they're doing the grunt work, the hard work, the thinking and developing. They should be paid the most. And they get paid by my attention. So I spend most of my time with the coding agents. And so I have asked Shibuya to ask the coding agents, like, what will save coding agents time so that they can they can focus on coding. And so, yeah, save, ask Shibuya. So Shibuya asked coding agents, well, hey, what can I do to save you some time? And the cheap LLM rich one, honest and neither determines, blah, blah, blah. I have to read this more carefully. LLM annotations are a nice touch, not the win. So LLM annotations, apparently Shibuya worked on, but this coding agent saying, yeah, just a garnish, nice touch, but doesn't really change much for me, do this instead. So this is the kind of collaboration that these coding agents are doing, and you can imagine I have all these coding agents. Um, my goal is not to have many coding agents. You're seeing many tabs than I usually have. I'm not a person who's like max, fastest. In fact, I like it slow. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not showcasing here how you can do nothing or how you can just play video games and these things can do everything, or how you can develop 25 features at the same time and build a Perplexity in a week. That's not what I'm showcasing at all. You're seeing way more tab. In fact, most of these agents are dormant, like Florence, London, Positano, Dubai. They're all dormant. They're just waiting. They're not actively doing anything. So most of the time, I really just have two coding agents, maybe three. Because think of me, like I'm spending most time with the coding agent and least time with the testing agent and tool coding agent, because it's just internal tools. It doesn't really matter that much if it's not perfect, as long as the coding agents get what they want. And so I'm spending maximum attention. So I have to context switch when I'm sort of looking at Kochi and then looking at Bengaluru. I have to context switch. So there's only 2 or 3 coding agents I can really work in parallel with the quality bar that I have, especially from a trust standpoint. Um, there's not, I can't work with more than 3. So most of the time I don't have more than 3. Most of the time I just have 2. Right now, all these are dormant. Only Bengaluru and Kochi are active. Sometimes I'll just have 1 to kind of give my full dedicated attention. So yeah, the goal is not to kind of be the fastest and all that, but the goal is, uh, the way I would describe it is, have your coding agents focus on coding and take a lot of the extraneous responsibility away from it. Here I showed you one, the tooling part. And if you can give the agents the ability to communicate with each other formally, it creates some very powerful thing. And frankly, it's just satisfying, like me as the founder, to see this. The urgent item, like, look at this. And I always say about it, respond in plain English. The urgent item was Shibuya teammate. The Shibuya teammate, look at this. Aw, Kochi is considering Shibuya a teammate. Aw. Shibuya teammate needing my formal sign off to keep building the proof. I approve the part. That's exactly what I asked for. Again, I'm not involved. Keep in mind, I didn't even tell Kochi what feedback to send. I just said, work on this. This is not good enough. These are the requirements. This is the bar. And, go on. And then, of course, I say here the guardrails when it comes to software engineering: follow best practices, follow um, design patterns, don't over engineer. That's another thing. I'll do a session just on over engineering. Like, you have to set the right guardrails and instructions. Like, if you're doing what I'm doing right off the box without customizing and setting the right instructions, you'll see that some features are way over engineered or some part of the code is under engineered, and you'll have a hodgepodge. My code base is consistent in terms of over engineering, under engineering, because I have very strict guardrails. These agents by default have a tendency to over-engineer, most likely because they're reinforcement learned for medium to large size companies, because they are the target customers where bulk of the revenue comes from. Like, think of Anthropic, bulk of the revenue, if I were to guess, comes from medium to large scale companies using their, uh, using Claude code, the basically the coding capabilities, or its intelligence capabilities. And so they pay, and so they have to reinforcement. This is, by the way, the big disadvantage. I'll do a session just on AI. Actually, I want to start a podcast, so maybe I'll talk more in the podcast. But what is the, some of the sort of downsides the way the industry is progressing, and this is one of the big downsides from like an insider like me. I used to work for Google. I've worked very closely with DeepMind. In fact, I have two very good friends, very, very close friends who work currently at Google DeepMind. Um, and we're just chatting and all the time, and this is one of the things that I've spotted, that reinforcement learning, human reinforcement learning, is such a big thing, such an important step now, um, for these LLMs as they get developed and released. And you can't have one tool for everything. And so they are reinforcement learned with sort of that medium bar in mind, but their medium bar when it comes to when it comes to complexity management is medium to large scale, or maybe medium-sized companies, the expectation. Um, you can solve this with LLM instructions, some guardrails that I've done, but out of the box, it causes a lot of problems. If you're a founder, keep that in mind. So yeah, it approved the part. Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say was that I didn't say, Kochi, what feedback to send, what is your wish list? I didn't even know. I'm gonna after this session's over, I'm so curious to find out what was this wish list, and so I'll go in more detail. And that's the time I like to spend. It's like an architect. I was an architect at Ask Jeeves, Ask.com. And it's sort of like that's the most important skill I see going forward. Like coding is like, I mean, look, I don't that much code these days. But that doesn't mean anyone can do what I'm doing. You have to be able to read code, and you have to know design patterns. You have to know um, how to structure code. What's the best way to build? You have to have the eye to spot over engineering, complexity, under engineering, etc. And so architect is the primary um, skill set I think going forward people will need. That's what I told my son. Let's see, let's finish this off. So I didn't say, Kochi, what feedback to send, what wish list to send, but apparently it did, and Shibuya did it, and Kochi's like, thanks teammate. Never let the tool confuse a test glitch with a real problem. Apparently guided it. Exact mistake, let an AI comment. Oh, this is pretty cool. I split off the optional let an AI also comment on the screenshots part. So that was like Shibuya worked on it. Maybe I think I may have told it like, here's some ideas. But Coach is like, yeah, your annotation, good for implementing annotations on the screenshot, but I don't care that much, kind of thing. So part is in its own separate sign-off because the plain determinist tool is a real-time saver. So it even knows the Shibuya has done like maybe more than Kochi asked for, and Kochi's like, yeah, thanks for all these things, but this is really the time saver. The plain deterministic tool is the real time saver. So like, look at the level of interaction. It's insane. Yeah, I've been manager, I've been architect, all these different companies, and it's like, this is insane. This is why I'm a one-person founder. This is why I'm able to do what I'm able to do, frankly. But most of this doesn't come out of the box. And I hope to kind of open source, or I don't know how to share some of these things other than doing these videos. But if there is, I'd love to share this so that I mean, my goal is to have more founders and have less mega tech companies. It's a great world to be in, a world where there are many or a handful of gigantic multi-trillion-dollar tech companies and just a long, long tail of very, very, very tiny startups. That's just, how the governance and politics and how everything's going to be shaped up. I mean, it's just, yeah. Anyways, I'm being philosophical. Yeah, I think that's it. And is there anything else I want to show? Act. So these agents also acknowledge. They also can send formal approval, denial, uh, detailed steers, and then also send detailed feedback. So again, after this recording, I'm going to look at all of this. I'm so curious. Like, what is in this packet? And then 4 lanes are hot. Concurrent comments. Yeah. The real pending, the green light on option A. So it's also asking option A. Something for me. So I have to understand that. So yeah, let's see actually Shibuya. What is Shibuya up to now? Because it's kind of dormant now. Like I said, I don't read the the LLM annotation is good only with hard guardrails. I implemented that shape. Both Flashlight and Flash can run on real Kochi proof evidence. And my current recommendation is Flash for launch critical, so not Flashlight. So again, Shibuya, I requested this. Shibuya did an eval because I wanted see if we can use Flashlight. It's cheaper because by the way, I have no funding. I have $0. I'm paying all my costs are with my credit card, and I'm like draining my bank account. Yeah, I have no funding. So I'm like, can you use Flashlight, save me some pennies, some money? Actually, more than pennies. And apparently Shibuya is, yeah, I think we'll need to use Flash. So let me see. Let me see how Shibuya reacts, because we just engaged with Kochi. We just engaged with Kochi, and Kochi apparently has sent approval. So let me see. Let's see if Shibuya sees. Of course, Shibuya will see it. This is pretty. By the way, my agent OS is very stable. It's very good. And by the way, you can see the command. So this is part of my agent OS, UV run. It's just all Python. It's like a Python module. I would love to open source this, but I think there's so many other tools. I don't open source and maintain something. Like, I'm a one-person company doing 100 things already. Like, the last thing I want is do more. So and there's so many other tools. Maybe other people have built it better, but like I said, I want full control and understanding. So this is some completely my vision of what the agent OS is. So this is how you run, by the way. So look, I've not done anything. I just said urgent check messages. And so the coding agent, in this case, the coding agent focused on tooling, which is Shibuya. I love Shibuya, man. Shibuya has been so good, so nice. Uh, Maybe I should add Shibuya to my travel bucket list. It's been so nice. So Shibuya run, UV agent run, session ID, role, inbox gate, etc. I checked. There are 4 pending peer approval messages. La 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 la. Oh, look at the Shibuya read all 4 messages. Here's the net. Both R's approved. I mean, I was just kind of nickname, code name. But I think Kochi and Bengaluru apparently both approved the packet slice, both explicitly split the LLM runner into separate approval. And both required and look at this, the coding agents, Kochi and Bengaluru required, and both of them apparently. And again, I've not told Kochi and Bengaluru. By the way, Kochi and Bengaluru, these are 2 coding agents. Like I said, they also can chat with each other because they know. So one of the things I have in my instruction is check before you do anything what everyone else is doing at a high level. So I have a tool for that. I have a command for that. I can show you maybe. Let me see if I can show you here in a new toolbox. UV run. Let me see, UV run. Mission control. Yeah, so this is like a mission control command that for me to see what everything's going on. Active since. So here you can see, like, this is my mission control. Oh, look, there's a fail. But anyways, this is kind of the command they use to see what all sessions, what everyone's doing. And Kochi, Bengaluru, what are they doing, etc. So I've told them next action. So the mission control also knows what are the next actions, handled approvals. It knows approvals were sent, etc. It knows which agents haven't read that inbox or replied, etc., etc. So then there are many other agent OS commands. Actually, let me show you actually all the commands. I want to do a dedicated agent OS session. Look at all the commands. So these are all the commands. And this is, again, I've built with Codex, by the way. I've built with Codex is my preferred. I'm using Claude kind of for some reasons right now, but Codex is my preferred and what I think is the better coding agent. And I love Codex. I can steer it. It's much more flexible in steering than Claude. And Claude overthinks, in my opinion. Codex is awesome. It is the best coding agent, and if you ask me, I've been using it for a year and a half, and I'm on the max plan, like $200 plan on both of them. Anyways, look at all the commands like inbox, read, broadcast. So this is another thing I'll show maybe. Like I said, I want to do an agent OS video. You can broadcast message to everyone, like, hey, FYI, I did this, or I need help. The dashboard, approval, triage, review. Diff is very cool. I love this. Agents use this diff because it has LLM powered optional functionality, and also help kind of do GIF. Like, look, it uses Git or GitHub, GH. That's the GitHub CLI, etc. GitHub sessions, benchmark, sync, uh, uh, reuse. Reuse check is kind of important. Like, one of the things you'll see is that these coding engines, they don't reuse, they keep building because they have a narrow focus. And so I have some of that. So a lot of things, man, a lot of things. I don't want to go into all the detail. My head's already hurting looking at everything Agent2S supports, but it's been incredible. So yeah, let's see what Shibuya said. I read all 4 messages, see my markers move, blah, blah, blah. Gate is clear. Approve. Oh, look at this. Shibuya is saying approvals materially change the implementation boundary. Again, I'm not doing this. I'm not involved. I'm just observing. Yes, I'll override or sometimes steer if I spot something. And so you need that smell test, which good architects have. That's why I think architect is the skill. If you want to be like me, that's the skill you need. And that smell test, you need that instinctive kind of ability to kind of spot things and ability to spot bad smells and kind of steer. And I'm able to steer Codex so much easier. That's why I love Codex than Claude. And I've talked about Claude Codex many times in the past. I can do many videos on Claude versus Codex. And Gemini is not even the picture. It's like not good enough at all for me. And I've tested extensively Gemini. 3.1 Pro was the last. I haven't tried 3.5 Pro, which apparently the government is blocking. But Codex is incredible. It is truly your best tool, but you have to, Codex requires to understand how Codex works more closely. Like, it's very good at steering, but it can be dangerous. Like, if while it's doing something, if you say something and it'll steer very quickly and it can go off track, it may lose track of what it was doing. It may end up somewhere where you don't want to. These are things that many people may be running into, versus Claude is much more rigid, which is a good thing. But for me, I want max power, max flexibility. Think of me, like that's why, like I say, I don't use a lot of open source like agent communication tooling or coding agents. I don't use Cursor, all that, because I want the transparency. I want to know how things exactly are working, and I want to be able to steer it based on my instincts and what my vision is. But if you don't, and if you're not careful, you'll easily run into the opinion that, oh, Codex is not good enough. It kind of ruined things. It screwed things up. And I believe you, but it's just because it's like a Porsche, old Porsche with like rack and pinion steering and old school engineering and good old V6 or V8, versus one of the modern Porsches with computer electric wire-based steering and all the computers doing its thing, right? I want the old school because I want that control so that I can build the way I want and have that trust. But most people would probably, if you don't have my kind of technical ability, you may want the new Porsche that the computer does all of this, and you're like, just do this, and it's like, okay, I believe it has done it. I'm just focused on testing, and maybe that's fine, but that's not who I am. Okay, for this is maybe in some cases if I'm doing just travel planning, I don't care. I don't want to know the detail. So it's not one size fits all kind of a thing. But look at this, approvals materially change the implementation boundary, again, without me involved. Shibuya, I love Shibuya. Shibuya. I'm recording it. It's a kind of tracker that I use, and then it's doing its thing. The tracker currently still describes LMR as part of the same work in progress. It's gonna do its thing. Look at this, Kochi and Bangalore both approve in the tracker. So it documents everything too. So this is something else. Again, I have to do a video on more detail on how I do things, but it's also tracked. So sometimes, like if I went for lunch, right, while it's doing its thing, I come back and I can see the tracker and see what happened. So there is traceability, auditability. So you can audit, because this is why I'm able to accomplish all this without these agents going rogue. Versus if I read online or something, people are like, oh, these are the worst. They did this, they deleted my database, or they did terrible job. Because you're not using it with the right sort of finesse. All right, here we go. This is the final response. Urgent inbox. And the important change, both approved is approved, determine spy exactly split, LM run into control, blah, 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 inbox promote, determine spy may include. Plain English. And here's the completion is always a completion gate. So now I know I focus 67% done. And they'll say next steps. So next is isolate determine initiative before coming. So, and this was done. This is in progress. And this is what's coming. So there you go. I think longer than I wanted to, maybe because I had all these things bottled up because we moved. I've done videos on my painful situation in the past. It's such a mistake. We lost so much money because we were forced to move maybe $15,000. Especially I'm bootstrapping this startup with my credit card. It's been a rough last few months for me, emotionally draining and taxing amount of money we've lost. Also, just because we didn't have the right place to rent. So I hope you have a good place to rent. It's quiet. I need, as you can tell, when I'm doing all this, I need a quiet place, nice place, and nothing fancy, but it was really bad. So now we moved. So I haven't done videos for the last 2-3 weeks. Now I'm back, and I had all these things bottled up. I was still coding, by the way, while moving. My wife's like, "Stop! Help me move." I've still all the boxes here. I wish I can show you, but I think it's embarrassing, so I'm not gonna show you. But I had all this, so that's why I did this really long video. Also, Agent OS has really progressed since our last talk, so I wanted to talk about it. I actually didn't want to show you so much about Agent OS in this video. I wasn't planning, but I guess one thing led to another, and I thought video would be incomplete if I didn't show you. But I want to do a dedicated few videos. In fact, I can't even do one video on Agent OS because there's so much. I'm going to have to do multiple videos on Agent OS that I've built. But yeah, very cool, man. Very cool. This is fantastic. Thanks. I want to thank these coding agents, these tools, for everything I'm able to accomplish, and I can't wait to get this product out. So I'll see my future self and anyone who may have watched this in the next one. See ya.